Hey everybody, it is Crystal Marshall from martialartstudiophotography.com, and today we're going to do something kind of fun but kind of embarrassing for me. So the other day I was thinking about how a person like me, who's a mom of three, could rock their photos. So a lot of things on Pinterest, a lot of photo ideas that I get, or a lot of photo ideas that clients give me, are sort of a lot of the models that you see on Pinterest are made for more of a smaller body type, more petite size, which is great. But when I'm working with a client that is a little bit more curvy, like somebody like me, it's good to know some poses that flatter these body types. And of course, my husband was watching the kids, and so I decided to do a photo shoot with myself, by myself, which was a challenge. So I had the backdrop set up, I had the light set up, I had a remote shutter that I used, and you're going to see some pretty embarrassing photos of me. But you know what? I'm a real person, I'm a real mom, and so anyway, we're going to hop right into it. So how to rock your curves and rock your photos with these 5 or 6 favorite poses that I have. So let me hop you over here to, there you go. So first of all, we are going to, here we go. So something that a lot of people don't know is that your camera is not necessarily like your eye. When you look at something, your brain kind of puts all the puzzle pieces together, but your camera is not that smart. And so the thing that's closest to the camera is going to be the thing that is going to be emphasized by the camera. The thing farther away from the camera is going to be the thing emphasized by the camera. So if you want to emphasize something about yourself that you love, like your eyes, your hair, your nails, which I do not have good nails, maybe the chest area, but maybe you want to de-emphasize more of the stomach area, which is, I understand completely. So maybe turning your body toward the camera in a way that would be showing off more of an area that you would like to emphasize. And let's say maybe a more favorable area for you, or maybe like your hips and legs. So maybe elongating your pose so that your legs are the thing that's being emphasized. So let's hop over to the slide that shows you, see how embarrassing this is? So this is pose number 1, where I basically just shot straight onto the camera. I just did a basic, just me looking at the camera. Now, before I get into kind of what we're talking about, all of these cameras were not photoshopped at all. All of these photos, there was no change of lighting, there's no change of camera, there's no change of lens, okay? It was only to emphasize posing, all right? So if you're thinking, oh, well, she probably photoshopped that out. No, absolutely not. I did not. None of these have been photoshopped. These are exactly what I took. I might have like brightened them up a little bit, just to kind of like give them a little bit more exposure, just because it was just me shooting. So I didn't have somebody like looking at the back of the camera all the time. But that's it. I did not, take anything out or, move anything out in post or anything. So, anyway, so pose number 1, you're flat onto the camera. It's obviously emphasizing the wrong things. It's emphasizing the stomach area. It's emphasizing more of the shoulder area. I have an inverse triangle body type, or the apple shape. So if you have, broad shoulders and, broad bust area, but, you don't have very wide hips, this is the same body type for you. So pose number 2, right here with the check, it simply was me turning toward a side that has a little bit more curve, giving me a little bit more of a waistline, giving me a little bit more shape in the back. And what I was doing, I was actually putting my arm on my hip to create that kind of the S shape in the back. So giving you some negative space by using your arm to kind of putting your shoulder back a little bit would be helpful. Also, I turn my body away from the light source. So that, especially if you're, using a window light or something like that, maybe you can put in shadow, something that you don't want to show. So there you go. Let's pop over to the next one. Use your hands to give you a waist. So kind of what I talked about in the last slide. Your hands can be very strategic on where you put your hands. So you can put your hands, in places where you want to emphasize, or de-emphasize. So the hands are really good for that reason. They can maybe like cover up. Let's see if I can do something. Cover up. Maybe something that you don't want to emphasize, or they can give you a little bit of a waist, in the side. So hands are good. Hands can also be bad because they can. So it just depends on how you use your hands. They can emphasize something you don't want to emphasize, or they can kind of cover up. So you have to be really careful using your hands. All right. So this would be an example of maybe a bad use of hands on the left, where the hands are not really covering up what they need to cover up and making you look to the places that you don't want to show. Okay? So when with the arm up, a lot of people do this kind of pose, but it kind of, exposes a lot of the areas that you don't want to show. Where pose number 2, where I kick my hip back, and so the hands were covering the area that I didn't want to emphasize. So that would be kind of the mentality behind that. So emphasizing more of the hips and legs, emphasizing the arch in the back, emphasizing the chest, where this was not really, I do see a little bit of curve here, a little bit of taper here, but this does not really give me enough waistline. So, all right, let's pop you over there here. Don't just take a picture head on. I kind of touched on that in the first one. Don't just be like straight. That's not going to help emphasize the curves and emphasize what you have. And a lot of times, here you go, here's a perfect example. So this would be pose number 1, very straight on. It doesn't really emphasize the things that I want to emphasize. It kind of just is a blob. It makes me look like a blob. We don't want blob. We want fun. We want maybe a little more personality, have that curve in the back again, have that arch in the back, have that coming down to the foot. You don't want your feet to be at the same level. You don't want your hands to be at the same level. You want everything to be asymmetrical, to give you that motion and to give you a little bit more pop here, a little bit more interesting of a look here. And I just kind of, and I didn't even change my hair even. I just, because of the way that I was looking and because of the way that I was tilting my head, then my hair fell to where I like it. Where this, because I was straight on, it was just like, so there you go, Mom. I didn't really do my hair, but it was all the pose, okay? What about sitting poses? All right, sitting poses are interesting. Let's look at the sitting poses. All right, so sitting pose number 1, again, it doesn't give me any shape. It doesn't give me, it's not an interesting pose. And a lot of times as a mom, I'm sitting this way because I'm reading books or, whatever, I'm playing a game on the floor. But bad posture is not good for anybody in a photo. So if you are ever sitting down, don't ever have bad posture if you're trying to take a good photo. So this would be an example, maybe a little bit better posture. I was sitting up tall. I was, having my back arched a little bit. I was using my legs to create a pose, create a look. Having my leg up, having one arm a little bit more up than the other one, having one shoulder a little bit more up than the other one. It just became more of an interesting curve than just, So this is definitely, and again, turning my good side of my face toward the light and emphasizing the light hitting me on one side. There you go. It's all, like I said, it's all about turning the parts, squishy parts, away from the camera or lights. Okay. I'm just being real, ladies. Can I get an amen? I mean, as moms, we need a little help, and I am not a model by any means, which is why I did this. I didn't want to like have a model call, have somebody who is a professional model. I wanted it to be like a mom. I'm a mom. I wanted it to be like real life. You know, hey, this is real life. You know, this is my body. This is who I am. How can I use it? How can I flatter it? How can I work it to my advantage? So this would be another sitting pose. Again, blah. It's just not emphasizing. It really looks like I'm hunched over. It really looks like I'm a lot heavier than I am. Where this is like I'm emphasizing the back. I'm emphasizing the hips and waist. I'm emphasizing my face and my hair. I'm emphasizing, you know, having more of a pose like this with the arms. Again, asymmetrical. I have one leg up, one leg down, one arm up, one arm down. It's not the same. Where this would be same arm, same leg, same leg. It looks very like rectangular. Where this would be more of a triangle. We want triangles. Triangles are very good because they are very eye-pleasing. They help you to focus up here and then have a good base in the bottom. Oh, my voice. Oh, my goodness. All right. Like I said before, using your hands to cover parts that you don't want to show. But again, it's all about using them in the right way. So this would be using a stool. Stools are really tricky because, you know, using chairs or stools are very tricky. So if you're ever sitting. So this would be an example of using a stool in a proper way. A lot of times when you go to like a headshot studio or a Sears or Target, you're going to sit on a stool. And so maybe like posing in a way that you're not emphasizing negative parts about yourself. Where this would be, you know, covering up, having a little bit more of an attitude, having a little bit more of a, again, one arm up, one arm down, one leg is up, one leg is down. So having a little bit more of a shape there. I'm sorry that the crop is not perfect. Again, I was taking the photo of myself. Okay. Let's see here. So, and it kind of what inspired this is I was taking a class on posing. I was taking a class on Creative Live, which if you haven't checked out Creative Live, it is amazing. They have some awesome free streaming webinars and a lot of things that are like super inexpensive. But I was taking a Lindsay Adler course on posing and how to pose clients, how to pose couples, and they had a whole section on how to pose a curvy person. And I was thinking, you know, oh my goodness, one, this is awesome because, you know, most of the people I work with are like me. We're moms. You know, we're moms. We're regular people. We're not going to be professional models. We're not going to be, you know, young body type. And so maybe when I work with a client, trying to coach them in a way that makes them feel confident, makes them feel beautiful. And also, this webinar kind of came out because when I was growing up, being Latina, you know, we develop very quickly. And so when I was, you know, 6th grade, 7th grade, I'm already more developed than everybody in my whole class. I'm a foot taller than everybody in my whole class. And so, I mean, I love my parents. They're awesome. But to kind of react to that, they said, oh, well, you just wear sweatshirts. You just wear sweaters. You just wear, you know, sports bras and everything. Just to, you know, you don't want to emphasize that. And so I kind of had this mentality of, like, I could never be feminine. I could never be, you know, working the curves. I could never, like, wear makeup, you know, because I want to hide who I was. And it probably wasn't until I got married, when I started having kids, you know, that I'm like, you know what, this is my body, and this is who I am, and I'm just going to work it, and you know what, I'm just going to go for it, and I don't want to shrink back behind some heavy sweater, or some heavy cardigan, or some sports bra, you know, just be confident, be who I am, and that's been a really big journey for me, personally. So, awesome. So, woohoo. So don't shrink back. Let me go to this slide. So it would be where this would be kind of a pose where that maybe I would be normally sitting down at the kitchen table or just sitting there. And again, it really makes me feel like I'm a little bit older, a little bit heavier, where this would be more of a flattering pose. I am, again, one leg up, one leg down, one arm up, one arm down. I'm emphasizing what I want to emphasize. I have my good side toward the camera. I have a nice arch in my back, going down. So I have some curve here. It's a triangle. It's kind of a long triangle, but whatever. So those are some awesome tips. If you are a curvy lady and you want to look flattering in photos, and you want to work your body, don't hide behind, heavy sweaters, wear things that are going to emphasize those things. And it probably wasn't until I was probably pregnant where a lot of clothes, they're made to kind of emphasize that you're having a baby, and it's totally fine. And it was just such a foreign concept for me, thinking like, maybe, when you have a baby and you have 40 extra pounds on you, like, oh, let me hide behind this trench coat, But a lot of the clothes out there, they're just kind of like spandex with leggings, And you're just thinking, all right, let me just work it. And so I just became more confident in who I was. And so I hope that helps you, ladies, to work some photos this year, especially since it's getting warmer. And so anyway, I will check back with you later, and I hope you all have a good day. And again, this is Crystal Marshall from MarshallArtStudioPhotography.com, and see you later.